we were a little concerned, but you know, him being a suitor for my sister. But of course, you know, considering that you know, you're talking about a sister who doesn't know how the post office works, you got to take what you can get. So maybe guilty as charged on the effete snob, but I think there's extenuating circumstances under the circumstances here. Moving on to Eileen Carey. Hard to know how to get through to a hard-headed, dense woman. It's tough to know. I mean, people stop me on the street with this little guy, and they say, "Oh, he looks like his father. Oh, he's a spitting image of his father." She comes here to Connecticut, doesn't even take pictures of me, goes back to California, puts on those stupid sunglasses, and she can't see a resemblance. Well, I just want you to know that anyone who's seen the baby pictures here, has seen me, knows that you've just been making a fool out of yourself about this. Now look, I know you're not an engineer. I know particularly you're not a woman engineer, because if you were a woman engineer, you'd have been hiding off camera going, "Ooh, ooh." But I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself. Okay? In front of everybody. All I want is a yes or no answer. A yes or no answer, please. One last time. Does this baby look like me or what? It is me, you meatball. Bring back the judge. I rest my case. What a meatball. Moving on. Ann Docker. Since Ann was the only one who reached me with a check at the time of this viewing, her segment was the only one which mercifully was overwritten. In truth, I apologize for that. It probably would do her a favor to have that film around. Me. That's right. Me. Me. He can't tell the difference either. See that? An unsolicited testimony. Me. That's right. Unsolicited testimony. It's perfect. Baby. Baby John. Me. You're everything a father could ask for in a son.
Oh, Daddy, you're too much,
Actually, it's too bad that Ann didn't, you know, that this segment didn't survive. It would have convinced her to never go into acting, you know, if it were around. You know, now, you know, she might be tempted again in a weak moment. And lose the Russian, okay? Please, lose the Russian. All right, now let's get down to the chameleon role of John Dougherty Sr. playing Judge Mockner and playing himself. As Judge Mockner, very unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, he came out and I was sure that it was not John Dougherty playing the part, but rather Bert Lahr in The Wizard of Oz, dressed up as the cowardly lion, which is what he looked like with that mop on his head. Of course, Bert Lahr was planted in Forest Lawn sometime a few years back. However, considering the wooden performance given by the judge in this case, perhaps it was Bert Lahr resurrected just for the night. As himself, Mr. Dougherty Sr. was much more believable. When the whining about the ginger ale started, I could smell the rotten ginkgos on home circle again. It was so realistic. And then my mother gets on and there's more whining about ginger ale. I think after all these years, be quiet, I'm talking. Be quiet. Pipe down.
Johnny, how much go sit on Daddy's lap?
Come here, you. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on over here, you little clone. Come here. After all these years, I think it's about time that we settled the story about the ginger ales. And all you little kiddies down there in front who are watching this, I want you all to know the truth about the ginger ale. It is true that a lot of the metallic tasting Ballad Club ginger ale disappeared out of the basement cold spot refrigerator in the house. However, I'm here to tell you right now that it was Aunt Moira who had most of that ginger ale. On maybe one or two occasions, just to be sociable, I might have had a sip with her. But more regularly, and in fact most of the time, it was Aunt Moira. I'm glad to get that off my chest. I've been covering for her too long. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's it. Moving on. Boom. Boom. What a whine. You've been watching your grandfather? Ginger ale. Almost going again. Brian Doherty playing himself. It was very hard to believe that this was Brian Doherty playing himself. And you want to know why? I mean, I've seen Brian Doherty recently when he came to my son's christening. And anyone who knows Brian Doherty these days know that it's not Brian Doherty unless he's humming some rock tune out of tune under his breath. Didn't hear any of that until the end when, of course, he and his tone-deaf sister, Margie, got on to sing Chattanooga Choo Choo. So while his performance was not very believable, he showed his true colors at the end. Let's talk about my sister Hildy, who hid off camera and pretended to be a dog. What else can I say about that? Herder, come over here a second. Come here. Come on, boy. Come on. Let's talk. Let's talk. Do you have something to say to Uncles Brian and Brian? Yeah. What was he telling us earlier, John? He said, that wimp Brian Carey calls me a wimp. Next time he comes to New England, he'll be taking back some dachshund teeth in his leg. How dare he call me a wimp? And I'm particularly upset that my Uncle Brian Doherty, with whom I've been friends for many years, betrays me in such a way as to call me a wimp. I'm gunning for both of you guys. The end is near. You'll find out the wimpiness of my jaws the next time you return to Connecticut. So look out. What do you think of that doggy, John? We fear him, don't we? He's a nice doggy. But he's no wimp. He's no wimp. No. No, he's not. Well, what else can we say?